This is a tutorial on history as it matters for politics in the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, of course, being the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, including, of course, England, Scotland, and Wales in Great Britain. If we look at the position of this country in the world, it has, of course, been a great power, the empire on which the sun never set, covering quite a substantial part of the world's geography about 100 years ago. And as such, the history of the United Kingdom and its political system has had a profound impact on democracies across the world, and also on other systems of governance and political culture and so on. So let's have a look at how this political community that is the United Kingdom has developed. And to do so, we really have to go back to the Middle Ages. Unlike a country like the United States of America, which has a fairly short, by European standards, history, only dating back about 250-ish years, we can look at the United Kingdom with its continuous history at least back to the Middle Ages. And of course, we can trace it all the way back to Romans and the Celts that met them. But if we're looking at the development of the current political system, the current political community of the United Kingdom, an excellent point of departure would really be the Magna Carta, because this document of such tremendous importance in not only the development of the political system of the United Kingdom, but also for the development of and later evolution of democracy as a whole. Here we have one of the earliest instances in history where a king cedes absolute power and agrees to rule within some form of constitutionality, even though Magna Carta was never a constitution in the sense of, say, the American Constitution. It still limited the power of the king to at least formally rule within the rule of law. It contains, this document, Magna Carta, contains such things as the basics for habeas corpus, the basics, in other words, for the starting principle for everyone to have the right to a free and fair trial. Everyone who is accused should have the right to know the substance of the accusations and the case made against that person. And also, it's the start of parliamentarism, because it stipulates that the king needs the consent of the nobles in many senses. So cannot underestimate the significance of Magna Carta. I'm fairly confident that there will be quite a bit of celebrations and quite a few shows on History Channel, if History Channel cares about history anymore, celebrating Magna Carta coming up on its 800th anniversary. Moving on to the role of religion. Now this dimension differs from what happened in the United States, where the point of origin really went with the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution is a separation of state and church. That's not what was the case in the United Kingdom to begin with. First, of course, Catholicism being the dominant religion during the Middle Ages and so on. And then we get to the 1500s, the Reformation, and also the rise of Protestantism, and of course the falling out between Henry VIII and the Pope. And what happened then was effectively that the king became the head of the Church of England, the Anglican Church. And this is rather the opposite of separating state and church. It's actually the state and church intertwined. So that's a different legacy and a different history of how to deal with the role of religion in society. And even today, now of course there is religious freedom in the United Kingdom just the same as in any other entrenched democracy. But even today you'll find vestiges of this old relationship in terms of the role of the Anglican Church in society, but also in terms of the Anglican Church actually having some seats in the House of Lords. But this tells you about a different development of the role of religion in society in the history of the United Kingdom. And this is actually a good segue into the issue of building democracy. I mentioned Magna Carta, the importance of that. That did not mean that the United Kingdom was a parliamentary democracy in the Middle Ages, or even during the Renaissance. Of course not. But there was a parliament. There was some form of parliament starting in the Middle Ages. You had the House of Lords and the House of Commons, the House of Lords obviously being the place where the nobility gathered, the same nobility that had same body of nobles that had forced the king to accept the Magna Carta. And the fact that these nobles had managed to push their positions forward in relation to the power of the king was an important first step in that building of democracy, in the sense that it shifts the power from the executive towards parliament, as rudimentary as it might have been in those days. And we'll see when we look over the history of the United Kingdom that over the centuries, because this has really been a process taking centuries, these two bodies, the House of Lords and the House of Commons, have been given and taken to themselves more and more power away from the executive, away from the monarchy, with a series of different acts of parliament. So it's really a case of building democracy incrementally, step by step, evolving into the order that we see today. And another component of this being the economy, of course, the Industrial Revolution, this huge fundamental restructuring of the economic infrastructure of the country. The Industrial Revolution actually takes off in Great Britain, and in the United Kingdom. This is where it starts. So we'll see the effects of the Industrial Revolution first here. And of course, one really significant effect of that is the working class demanding political change, demanding the extension of suffrage to people who didn't have the vote originally, so people who were not landed men of property, and the response being waves of electoral reform that slowly expands suffrage and democratic rights, and also results in more and more power for the House of Commons. So when we look at these four dimensions again, we see here that it's a long evolution building this political system, this political community, the nation, I'm using that word here, which is a problematic word in many ways, because of course you could argue that that the United Kingdom actually consists of many nations, Scotland being maybe its own distinct nation in comparison to England, and what about the Welsh? So maybe it should actually say building the nations here. But this observation notwithstanding, there is a strong unitary political system that has evolved over time. It's really, again, it's a case of political evolution, and even with the uh, uh, conflicts that have at times been quite violent, including, for instance, during the English Civil War in the 1600s, uh, the regime has remained strong, because if you look at the political system and the order of the political system, and the order of the polity, and the order of governance, it's inherently similar to, in many ways, it's an evolution of, I should say, the order of governance that we see starting out with Magna Carta. And this is even with in a political community that has no written constitution. That's a very peculiar and unique feature for the United Kingdom. So we can really talk here about a quite strong regime that has endured throughout uh, 800 years, pretty much, continuously evolved, continuously expanding the democratic dimensions, and functionalities within the same framework of governance. And that makes the United Kingdom uncommonly stable for a political system and a regime, uh, particularly if we compare to what has happened in the rest of Europe. So that's an overview of the political history of the United Kingdom, and I hope you found that useful.